NHIF is one of the greatest driver of universal health coverage. We must make sure that we do all what it takes to make it work, because that is the only system that we have that, if strengthened, it will ensure that all of us will be able to access universal health coverage. We have started well. We have started well by making a number of reforms. For example, now we no longer talk of NHIF as a fund that is only taking care of the employed people by the government, but we are talking about a fund that is taking care of all of us, including those who are in the informal sector, those who are employed through agriculture, as pastoralists, to mention but a few. Therefore, we must, as Kenyans, know that this is a fund that is very important for us. However, we must make sure that all the reforms that are being made, one of the things that they must address is having strong systems and structures that are going to make NHIF work. We are saying that it is important to ensure that we all fight corruption, because we know NHIF has been faced by a lot of corruption. We have lost a lot of money. Then if this is capped, then it means that many of us, we are going to start believing in the NHIF structure, and that we must make sure that the NHIF is able to bring on board a comprehensive package. As it is, does not offer a comprehensive package for everyone. So the packages that they offer, for example, for the formal sector or former employees for that matter, are more comprehensive compared to the packages that are given to the informal sector. We are therefore looking at it as a way that is not bringing the whole issue of equity. We are therefore requesting that we must have a format whereby everybody is given comprehensive and equal access to NHIF coverage services. So we do realize that there is a lot to be done in terms of ensuring that we have universal coverage and equity when we are utilizing the NHIF model. Indeed, it is also true that although we have had NHIF, we realize that corruption has been a big problem. It has faced our country, it has faced this fund, the NHIF fund, and it's an issue that we didn't need to address if NHIF system and structures are going to help us in achieving universal health care coverage in our country. I want to agree that NHIF is a very important structure as a driver of universal health coverage. However, there are a number of things that we need to do to make sure that NHIF delivers. For me and for the health civil society, we believe that NHIF now should change from being an insurance to a health fund, a fund that is concentrating on health-related issues. We believe that NHIF structures must be addressed so that we can be able to segregate the roles that NHIF is playing, and that NHIF itself becomes client-centered than finance-centered. We should be able to make sure that NHIF is concerned with ensuring that people get quality services as they work together with the other health facilities and sectors. We also want to see to it that NHIF is actually bringing a comprehensive package to everyone. So indeed, NHIF as it is, it needs a lot of reforms, and we appreciate that in this country now, we are giving a serious attention to NHIF reforms. Universal health coverage is actually meant to bring equity, it's supposed to bring quality, and it's supposed to reduce burden of finances on the citizens. When you go to we find it very funny, when you go to the private sector, we hear and we know there are the facts that are stated that when you go to the private sector and you have a NHIF card, you'll be addressed swiftly because money is released to them on time, unlike the public sector of the public health facilities. I think there's a problem whereby we need to address and make sure that there is equity, even the way the funds are reimbursed for both the private and the public sector. The private sector gets more favor, in double quotes if I put it that, in terms of receiving their reimbursement when they give treatment to the citizens. While the public sector, there's a lot of delay. So, you know, indeed this universal health coverage is actually supposed to reach everybody, and particularly the vulnerable, and we are leaving no one behind. If that is the principle that we want to promote in this particular process, then it means that we must devise a way of ensuring that reimbursements are done on equal basis for both for the private and the public sector, and remembering that in most cases, most of the needy people, the vulnerable people, will go to the public sector. And if they go to the public sector and they don't get the services, then it means we are not able to give them coverage that is quality and that is accessible to them. So this is an area that needs to be looked into, set all the structures in place to make sure that the refunds are made at the same time so that people can have freedom to go to any hospital with their NHIF card, and they can make sense of the NHIF card, because many people wonder, why should I have an NHIF card? If I go to the public hospital near where I am, I will not be able to be treated on time. But if I go to the public hospital, I'll get the treatment. And sometimes we even have had beyond that, the government people, the government employees get better attention than the general citizen. We want equity so that people can be able to access quality and equal services. We recently, in the course of this month, that is 14th and 15th of August, we held the National Health Forum in this country. And one of the agenda was actually to review and assess the achievements or the lessons that we could learn from the UHC pilot counties. It is very clear that a number of lessons were learned, and one of them is in regards to human resource. Like we have been saying in this country, we are short of human resource in terms of in regards to the support that we need for health related matters. And that has come very clearly with the assessment that was done regarding the achievement. It has come out that we were supposed to employ 12.5% of people to support in the health sector. We've only managed to employ 4%. That means a lot of work needs to be done so that the health sector can have enough personnel to take care of the health-related issues, even as we do the coverage that we are talking about. The other thing is about availability of essential commodities for treatment. That has come out clearly that in most cases we have stock out. In most counties we were not able to get the commodities that were needed on time. And therefore there must be systems and structures put in place to make sure that the commodities are there, they are on time. We also want to talk about the public health care system or coverage or services. This came out as one of the best way of ensuring that we access universal health coverage. We therefore have learned that if we are going to succeed in universal health coverage, then we must strengthen primary health care sector and many other things, including financing, that we must increase domestic financing for our health related issues so that we can be able to succeed. Therefore, for me and for the health sector, we see to it that these lessons which have been learned through the pilot system must actually be used to inform the rollout that we are doing into the other additional 43 counties. If we use the lessons, then we believe we are going to succeed. However, in a nutshell, it is important for us to notify ourselves that our systems are not yet there. They are not strong enough to be able to carry universal health coverage. We must do a lot to ensure that the systems and structures are strengthened in our country. The whole issue of personnel, the whole issue of financing, to mention but a few. We do not want to have packages whereby when a citizen goes to the hospital, you can get a surgery, but you will not be able to get the drugs to help you during the process when you need to recover. We want a comprehensive package that is addressing the sickness fully until one is well. And we want to have a package that is actually equal. We do not want to be hearing that some people are getting better services than others just because probably you are from the formal sector employment. We want equal, we want equal access, we want quality, and we want the whole package to reduce the burden of financing to the citizen. We know how much health issues have made many of our citizens to be poor. Many have been forced to sell everything they have to address the issues of illnesses or sicknesses. We therefore would want NHIF to take on board all the recommendations that we have made so that as citizens in this country, because the panel of experts went round, they collected our contributions to the reforms, and we are sure when those reforms or contributions are taken on board, the reforms will be different, and NHIF will again be strong enough moving forward that the NHIF leadership must include all of us. It must include the civil society in any committee that is formed, must include any other sector, including the private sector. This NGO, the civil society and the NGO sector must be included in the decision-making levels so that we can be able to give input and create more hope in terms of utilization and engagement with NHIF fund. NHIF, like I said from the beginning, should now change from being an insurance, but it should be a health fund for every citizen. And in this, we must ensure that we leave no one behind. We must ensure that all of us are able to access quality services under the NHIF, and this can only happen when the reforms proposed are taken on board. We must make sure as citizens that we demand for our rights. Health is a right, and all of us must demand for it, and we must go for the services, and we must make sure that the services that we are getting are quality services. And we want to ask our government again to continue offering us quality services, making sure that we all access the services and that there is sufficient funding to enhance or to make sure that the National Health Fund is able to address the issues of health in this country.